Hi Libra, thank you for joining me and welcome to this reading for your astrology for July through December. So the chart is going to just cover, the astrology is going to cover the period, the last 6 months of the year. This is in tangent to your tarot card reading, which is linked down below. There's actually two tarot card readings, one for the whole year and one for the second half of the year that is going up at the same time as the astrology reading. I also did a reading on Instagram, and so that was a horoscope reading using the 12 houses of the zodiac for your reading. And so I clarified each of the houses on Vimeo, and those are all linked down below for rental. If the original post on Instagram with the horoscope spread was able to produce 500 hearts, then I was able to release some, if not all, of the clarifying videos from Vimeo onto YouTube for free. So stay tuned for that, and you'll see all the information will be held down below. These are just really fast astrological overviews, so they're just meant to give you really fast facts about the astrology and things to watch out for. It's supposed to meant as a complement to the tarot card reading, in which I'm not doing any outright astrology, but I will make mention of these transits. I recommend watching this video before the tarot video, and then you'll really understand all the different things I'm mentioning. Although the tarot video is much more channeled guidance, whereas this is much more to do with astrology and just facts. Okay, so first off, we're talking about Chiron, and Chiron does go retrograde right on July 5th, and will continue in a retrograde motion between your 7th house of partnership and your 6th house of service right until December 9th. So the complete latter part of the year, Chiron will be dipping back into Pisces and kind of taking one last look at how you give back to others, how you are of service to others, etc. On July 10th, wow, we are in August. Okay, hold on. Got really eager here. So July 10th, we see Jupiter going direct. So that's a good move for your second house of money. That means that your financial prospects are going to pick up. And in the next few months between July and November is really your time to make money and establish yourself financially. This is the only transit that happens in this house for Jupiter for 12 years, actually 11 years before he's back here. So you definitely want to use this energy as much as possible. To add to that, there's not much opposing. In fact, here we see a really nice trine with the moon on July 12th between Neptune, the moon, and Jupiter, giving you a lot of prospects with regard to success, financial success, right on the cusp of a new moon. Okay, so we'll talk about that more in July. But in the meantime, on July 12th, we have a solar eclipse right here in the 10th house. So career moves are going to happen for you on July 12th. Things are going to improve, and it's at 20 degrees of Cancer, and it's a partial solar eclipse. This is bringing new things in for you in terms of your career, so I would feel pretty excited about that. Right after that, on July 26th, we see Mercury retrograde. So the Mercury retrograde periods are all happening in fire signs this year, and so the second retrograde, the second retrograde, Mercury retrograde, it's like Brangelina or whatever, they do those things. I was never into those kinds of like portmanteaus. I don't know what it's called. So yeah, so the second combination of the second retrograde period is in your 11th house of Mercury for the year, and so this is going to be really putting pressure on how you communicate with friends. This is a wonderful transit if you have a friend with whom you've gotten into an impasse with regard to how you communicate. So this is like reaching out the olive branch to try to resolve things that otherwise would not be very resolvable. And actually, It's not such a good transit for initiating new topics with friends. So just stay off of that between July 26th and August 19th. I'll talk about that more in that time period. This is also the time when Lilith finally moves into Aquarius. She'll stay there for the rest of the year. This is a dangerous transit because you will have a temptation to have more sex, be more promiscuous, be more gregarious than is safe for you to be. So make sure that you're not overindulging in your desires, but definitely can heat things up for you as well if it's managed well. Uranus goes retrograde on August 7th, and this is going to be in Taurus in your 8th house. This is going to be a chill out time for changes and transformation. You're up for a big transit with Uranus in your 8th house. Uranus likes the 8th house. He understands the 8th house and he resonates well with the 8th house. So I would just say that with the retrograde period in Taurus, it'll be just a bit of a break on the adjustment or transition period with this planet in your house. I'll definitely make a special for Uranus as the transition happens, I think in May. So you guys will be briefed on what the retrograde period means as well. Next, on August 11th, we have a new moon solar eclipse in Leo. So this is here. So this is just a few days before this chart is August 7th. This is on August 11th, new beginnings with regard to social relationships. This is eclipsing something in, especially if something from the past hasn't worked for you. Then this is a time to give it a second shot, possibly. Something will get resolved. And if you are starting a new friendship, because of the Mercury retrograde, you may want to just observe the energy that's coming up during the eclipse and then wait till August 19th to really communicate about that clearly. The next message is August 27th. Mars goes direct finally in Capricorn. So this is, I talked about this in the other video. Actually, Mars should go direct. Why is he there? Okay, I must be looking at a different chart. There we go. There we go. So Mars will go direct in 27 degrees of Capricorn, right at the end of Capricorn, and then move forward again in September. But it's important to focus on your 4th house throughout August and September, because there's going to be a big push with regard to family life and home life. Saturn will move direct in the 4th house as well. So think of like a pendulum swinging. It's really happening here in this area of your life. And Pluto will go direct on September 30th in the 4th house. So change and transformation in good directions. Next, on October 5th, we have Venus going retrograde. I don't like Venus retrograde, although it can bring in new things for you. Now, Venus retrograde happens in your 1st house, and then she will dip back into your 12th house by the end. Wait, Venus goes, hold on, I got confused. Venus moves retrograde October. Okay, sorry. Oh, there we go. That's the chart I want. So Venus goes retrograde in your 2nd house and dips back into the 1st house. Be careful for spending with Venus retrograde. October 5th through November 16th, this is in your 2nd house of money. And finally, just don't get too excited about financial stuff and make rash decisions. This is also a time in which you can do a self-check in the topics of how you love and progress in a healthy direction. If that means bringing someone forward with you on the heels of that, then this is a wonderful time to do it. Someone from the past, not someone new. Stay away from new people during Venus retrograde, October 5th through the 16th. November 16th, the nodes are going to switch. Now, some people count the North node as the true node. The true node actually switches on October 6th. The North node and the South node will switch into Cancer, your 10th house, which is career, and your 4th house, which is home, on November 16th. So you're going to be releasing old patterns with regard to home and family and going in the direction of career. You're going to be very career-minded, Libra, for the next year. Jupiter moves into Sagittarius. Woohoo! Okay, Sagittarius, Jupiter, this is your third house of communication. I feel as though this is going to be a year that's going to give you a lot of opportunities to bring about the things that you want through talking about them, through soliciting, in communicating with others and getting other people on board. It's you know, you're the hub of it all, and you're attracting it like a magnet. Mars moves into Pisces on November 15th. I don't know why I wrote this transit down, and every single time I'm doing the reading, I'm like, why did you write this down? But that's okay. We can handle that. Mars moves into Pisces in your 6th house. Giving oriented and being compassionate is going to be kind of your theme for the next four weeks. Venus moves direct on November 16th. So again, in your 1st house. So we've talked about that. And then we have the last retrograde period between November 16th and December 6th for Mercury retrograde. And so that is going to be in your 3rd house of communication in Sagittarius. And so you really need to be careful with this one, because Mercury rules communication, and in the house of communication, a lot of problems can come through with terms of communicating stuff. Really good for rehashing contracts, that kind of thing from the past, but I wouldn't initiate new ones. Neptune finally moves direct in your 6th house. Remember what I told you in the last video about checking your health benefits of that, or health detriment. Be careful for drinking too much while Neptune was retrograde between July and November. And then finally, Chiron moves direct. We talked about this in Pisces, right at the end of Pisces. So it's really going to hover on your descendant. Be very careful that during this year, between July 5th and even before, because Chiron is hovering over your descendant, Libra, you really want to be careful of bringing in people that in some way have, how do you say this, attracting people who are your detriment. To be honest, the descendant is the attraction point. So like the person that makes you weak is the person who's going to come to you if you're not careful, or if you're not managing the situation well. So I hope you like this overview. I hope you guys are having a good 2018. I'm actually filming this like a year before, so I wonder where I'll be. I wonder where you'll be. Anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful July through December. Check out the links down below, and I will catch you soon. Take care. Bye. Hi Libra, thank you for joining me, and welcome to this reading for your astrology for July through December. So the chart is going to just cover, the astrology is going to cover the period, the last 6 months of the year. This is in tangent to your tarot card reading, which is linked down below. There's actually 2 tarot card readings, one for the whole year and one for the second half of the year, that is going up at the same time as the astrology reading. I also did a reading on Instagram. And so that was a horoscope reading using the 12 houses of the zodiac for your reading. And so I clarified each of the houses on Vimeo, and those are all linked down below for rental. If the original post on Instagram with the horoscope spread was able to produce 500 hearts, then I was able to release some, if not all, of the clarifying videos from Vimeo onto YouTube for free. So stay tuned for that, and you'll see all the information will be held down below. These are just really fast astrological overviews, so they're just meant to give you really fast facts about the astrology and things to watch out for. It's supposed to meant as a complement to the tarot card reading, in which I'm not doing any outright astrology, but I will make mention of these transits. I recommend watching this video before the tarot video, and then you'll really understand all the different things I'm mentioning. Although the tarot video is much more channeled guidance, whereas this is much more to do with astrology and just facts. Okay, so first off, we're talking about Chiron, and Chiron does go retrograde right on July 5th. It will continue in a retrograde motion between your 7th house of partnership and your 6th house of service right until December 9th. So the complete latter part of the year, Chiron will be dipping back into Pisces and kind of taking one last look at how you give back to others, how you are of service to others, etc. On July 10th, wow, we are in August. Okay, hold on. Got really eager here. So July 10th, we see Jupiter going direct. So that's a good move for your 2nd house of money. That means that your financial prospects are going to pick up. And in the next few months between July and November is really your time to make money and establish yourself financially. This is the only transit that happens in this house for Jupiter for 12 years, actually 11 years before he's back here. So you definitely want to use this energy as much as possible. To add to that, there's not much opposing. In fact, here we see a really nice trine with the moon on July 12th between Neptune, the moon, and Jupiter, giving you a lot of prospects with regard to success, financial success, right on the cusp of a new moon. Okay, so we'll talk about that more in July. But in the meantime, on July 12th, we have a solar eclipse right here in the 10th house. So career moves are going to happen for you on July 12th. Things are going to improve, and it's at 20 degrees of Cancer, and it's a partial solar eclipse. This is bringing new things in for you in terms of your career, so I would feel pretty excited about that. Right after that, on July 26th, we see Mercury retrograde. So the Mercury retrograde periods are all happening in fire signs this year, and so the second retrograde, the second retrograde, Mercury retrograde, it's like Brangelina or whatever, they do those things. I was never into those kinds of like portmanteaus. I don't know what it's called. So yeah, so the second combination of the second retrograde period is in your 11th house of Mercury for the year, and so this is going to be really putting pressure on how you communicate with friends. This is a wonderful transit if you have a friend with whom you've gotten into an impasse with regard to how you communicate. So this is like reaching out the olive branch to try to resolve things that otherwise would not be very resolvable. And actually, it's not such a good transit for initiating new topics with friends. So just stay off of that between July 26th and August 19th. I'll talk about that more in that time period. This is also the time when Lilith finally moves into Aquarius. She'll stay there for the rest of the year. This is a dangerous transit because you will have a temptation to have more sex, be more promiscuous, be more gregarious than is safe for you to be. So make sure that you're not overindulging in your desires, but definitely can heat things up for you as well if it's managed well. Uranus goes retrograde on August 7th, and this is going to be in Taurus in your 8th house. This is going to be a chill out time for changes and transformation. You're up for a big transit with Uranus in your 8th house. Uranus likes the 8th house. He understands the 8th house and he resonates well with the 8th house. So I would just say that with the retrograde period in Taurus, it'll be just a bit of a break on the adjustment or transition period with this planet in your house. I'll definitely make a special for Uranus as the transition happens, I think in May. So you guys will be briefed on what the retrograde period means as well. Next, on August 11th, we have a new moon solar eclipse in Leo. So this is here. So this is just a few days before this chart is August 7th. This is on August 11th, new beginnings with regard to social relationships. This is eclipsing something in, especially if something from the past hasn't worked for you. Then this is a time to give it a second shot, possibly. Something will get resolved. And if you are starting a new friendship because of the Mercury retrograde, you may want to just observe the energy that's coming up during the eclipse and then wait till August 19th to really communicate about that clearly. The next message is August 27th. Mars goes direct finally in Capricorn. So this is, I talked about this in the other video. Actually, Mars should go direct. Why is he there? Okay, I must be looking at a different chart. There we go. There we go. So Mars will go direct in 27 degrees of Capricorn, right at the end of Capricorn, and then move forward again in September. But it's important to focus on your 4th house throughout August and September, because there's going to be a big push with regard to family life and home life. Saturn will move direct in the 4th house as well. So think of like a pendulum swinging. It's really happening here in this area of your life. And Pluto will go direct on September 30th in the 4th house. So change and transformation in good directions. Next, on October 5th, we have Venus going retrograde. I don't like Venus retrograde, although it can bring in new things for you. Now, Venus retrograde happens in your 1st house, and then she will dip back into your 12th house by the end. Wait, Venus goes, hold on, I got confused. Venus moves retrograde October. Okay, sorry. Oh, there we go. That's the chart I want. So Venus goes retrograde in your 2nd house and dips back into the 1st house. Be careful for spending with Venus retrograde. October 5th through November 16th, this is in your 2nd house of money. And finally, just don't get too excited about financial stuff and make rash decisions. This is also a time in which you can do a self-check in the topics of how you love and progress in a healthy direction. If that means bringing someone forward with you on the heels of that, then this is a wonderful time to do it. Someone from the past, not someone new. Stay away from new people during Venus retrograde, October 5th through the 16th. November 16th, the nodes are going to switch. Now, some people count the North node as the true node. The true node actually switches on October 6th. The North node and the South node will switch into Cancer, your 10th house, which is career, and your 4th house, which is home, on November 16th. So you're going to be releasing old patterns with regard to home and family and going in the direction of career. You're going to be very career-minded, Libra, for the next year. Jupiter moves into Sagittarius. Woohoo! Okay, Sagittarius, Jupiter, this is your 3rd house of communication. I feel as though this is going to be a year that's going to give you a lot of opportunities to bring about the things that you want through talking about them, through soliciting, in communicating with others and getting other people on board. It's, you're the hub. You're the hub of it all, and you're attracting it like a magnet. Mars moves into Pisces on November 15th. I don't know why I wrote this transit down, and every single time I'm doing the reading, I'm like, why did you write this down? But that's okay. We can handle that. Mars moves into Pisces in your 6th house. Giving oriented and being compassionate is going to be kind of your theme for the next four weeks. Venus moves direct on November 16th. So again, in your 1st house. So we've talked about that. And then we have the last retrograde period between November 16th and December 6th for Mercury retrograde. And so that is going to be in your 3rd house of communication in Sagittarius. And so you really need to be careful with this one, because Mercury rules communication, and in the house of communication, a lot of problems can come through with terms of communicating stuff. Really good for rehashing contracts, that kind of thing from the past, but I wouldn't initiate new ones. Neptune finally moves direct in your 6th house. Remember what I told you in the last video about checking your health benefits of that, or health detriment. Be careful for drinking too much while Neptune was retrograde between July and November. And then finally, Chiron moves direct. We talked about this in Pisces, right at the end of Pisces. So it's really going to hover on your descendant. Be very careful that during this year, between July 5th and even before, because Chiron is hovering over your descendant, Libra, you really want to be careful of bringing in people that in some way have, how do you say this, attracting people who are your detriment. to be honest. The descendant is the attraction point. So like the person that makes you weak is the person who's going to come to you if you're not careful or if you're not managing the situation well. So I hope you like this overview. I hope you guys are having a good 2018. I'm actually filming this like a year before, so I wonder where I'll be. I wonder where you'll be. Anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful July through December. Check out the links down below, and I will catch you soon. Take care. Bye. Guys, thanks for joining me, and welcome to my channel. This is your reading for the December 6th new moon in Sagittarius, and it's for this sign. I'm going to start off by picking a couple cards from the Starseed Tarot. Yes, girl, yes. Actually, for Mercury retrograde, and Mercury's in my first house right now, so you'd think it'd be all screwed up, but it's actually been pretty smooth, like incredibly smooth, actually. So I don't know what it is. I have Neptune in the first house too, so maybe Neptune is dissolving it, dissolving that Mercury retrograde, or maybe I feel like I'm doing the things that I wish I did before, like this design, like I wanted to change it a certain way and now it looks the way that I want it to. So hey girl, hey, let's take a look at your sign. We have the Master of Flames. It is a fiery time and into January. So January, even though there's eclipses in Capricorn, there's also an eclipse in Leo. Now this could be a Sag, a Leo, or an Aries. This is putting forward an intention into the world and really saying what you want. This is a man who comes in and who wants to give you, you know, support. And then there's the Sage of Chalices, Queen of Cups. Ooh, a loving relationship. I don't feel like they're connected. I feel like, if anything, this is your friend and this is your lover, or this is your lover, this is your friend, kind of thing. But more like this is the love interest and this is a friend who's around you at this time. This is super watery energy. Venus is in Scorpio and Mercury is in Scorpio station on the 6th. So what we're going to see is a lot of like fluidity. Venus is moving into a trine with Mars. That's going to create a grand trine if you have transits in Cancer. So water signs are lit in December. There's definitely like a burst of energy with regard to water energy as well. Let's take a look at, I don't want to say this guy, okay, so I'll tell you, yes, I do want to say, but just this is my intuitive interpretation, not the card meaning, whatever. Excuse me. The Master of Flames, it feels like he really likes you. It feels like he really, really likes you, like he really wants to know you, and he wants to do things for you, like financially possibly, or in other ways to take care of you and nurture you. She's a good friend too. I feel like maybe there's a little bit of narcissism going on. My friend who is a Pisces pointed out to the fact, I wasn't calling her a narcissist, but my friend who is a Pisces pointed out to the fact that, and her mom's a psychologist, a very good psychologist, her brother's a psychologist, hey girl, hey, but she pointed out that everybody has a little bit of narcissism in them, and I think that that's really a good point. But there's different degrees. But, you know, just as long as you're on her good side, you're fine. Okay? Yeah? Is that how it works? Here we go. So we have Taurus. Okay. Taurus can flow with this because Taurus keeps it clean. And that's what makes her feel safe. So in some ways, if you're a Taurus and you're dealing with this kind of energy, it's a really balancing and consistent energy. An understated time for Taurus. Let me just get your chart going. We'll do the astrology for a minute, and then we're going to do some more tarot. Let's see. Wow, this took a while to okay. Anyway, so hi Taurus. So the new moon is happening. That's what we're supposed to talk about. But since I don't do astrology on the daily, this is kind of a better way to do it for me. So we have the new moon in the 8th house with Jupiter. And what this means is that there is positive cycles to change and transform your life. This is also sexuality. I did sense like an erotic thing with this guy. So I feel like even though this is not necessarily the best angle for Taurus, that does not mean that it's not a bad match. It could be a good match, especially if they have like a Virgo moon or like a Virgo sun. Hey girl, hey, something like that. It could be quite erotic and quite passionate, new moon energy. So that's coming into your life. If it's not a person, if this is a spirit and the general energy around you, the world wants to change you at this time. The world wants to change certain things in your experience and give you some new transcendent kind of stuff to work through. Freedom, in a sense. So embrace the new moon. It's a good one for you, and especially other people's money. I told you, he wants to give you things, right? And then we have Venus in Scorpio, right? So I feel like you're sharing information with Miss Thing. I feel like you're sharing and talking with her. Scorpio is your opposite sign, so there's a natural connection there. But you do well with water signs altogether. The Cancers are really good for you in terms of your identity, and kind of they feel like home to you. Pisces are your friends, you know, all of that stuff. So it's all good in the hood, and it's good for romance, really good for romance as well. And so we have Venus in Scorpio, we have Mercury stationed in Scorpio. I feel like you can, it's like you know how to work her. That's how it feels. You know how to talk with her so that she is favorable. However, I don't think she's like a favorable person all around. I do get the sense that she's too narcissistic. She's too in her feelings. She's too caught up in what's happening for her. She's willing to do things if things don't go her way. That's Venus in Scorpio, you know? All of this type of energy, like Venus in Scorpio, the biggest drawback of Venus in Scorpio, I actually like the transit, but the worst thing is, if you hurt me, then I feel like I have the right to hurt you and set the record straight. It's vindictive, and it's vindictive on an emotional level. And the problem with being vindictive in general is you never know what the intentionality was. There could have been misunderstanding. It's just such a losing game, right? So I don't know what you're doing with this person, but for whatever reason, she's not directed at you. I'm telling you the honest interpretation. I don't know what you're doing with her, but I do feel like basically, what is it? I do feel like basically you're playing with fire, but she's not turned against you yet. Okay, so that's I don't sense any danger. I just sense in her danger. You know, I feel like she's not to be trusted. Ace of Crystals, Ace of Pentacles, new beginning, new financial beginning in the 8th house. This could be your family, so if it's your sister, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Well, I kind of did. I'm telling you, she has a vicious streak, and she's up in her feelings, and you know, it's not always a pretty picture. We have the 3 of Flames. Okay, so we have good things coming in. Maybe this is an inheritance that you have received. Maybe this could be someone who has passed away, because remember, I kind of felt like it was spirit world talking. So it's not that someone is passing away right now. This is someone who's passed, and you're receiving something, and maybe this is your sister or your cousin, and you're working out a way, or it could be your brother working out a way to get the money in a fair way. Seeker of Crystals. Now it's getting interesting. So we have the Page of Pentacles, a new beginning, very similar to the Ace, and then we have the last card, the 4 of Chalices. I think that you're working through financial issues with family members. I think that's what this is all talking about. And I know it's boring, but we have the Devil on the bottom. So, and the South Node. Ooh, I wish I could show you. I can show you. Let's look at this. So the South Node is right here. And this is important because Vesta is with Altair. So South Node is at the top of your chart. This is called the MC line. And it's conjunct Vesta. And so it's unpacking past lives. And Vesta is with a fixed star called Altair, which is boldness. It's boldness, like bold action. So at this time, if you are dealing with estate matters with family members, there could be a big push through. And what is your theme for the late 2018 readings? It's all been other people messing in what's properly yours, right? Like it's all, you've got the flowers. Remember the flowers? You got the flowers. They're taking your flowers. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's better that I tell you than you walk right into it. That doesn't mean this is happening. This is getting resolved. Like the issue is getting resolved. And I feel like you have a good stab at it here with the new moon and dealing with it. By the way, Saturn is with a fixed star too. It's with fasces, which is ruthlessness. And it's kind of like this... At this time, there could be very ruthless restrictions placed on your life in your 9th house. So like things that you cannot necessarily change. So to me, this feels more and more like a dangerous person in your life. I don't think through this new moon she is dangerous. I don't think that through this new moon she is going to do something bad. But I do feel like this is your best bet. This is the person who's giving everything, right? And this is someone else, a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn possibly, or this is knowing what to do with the situation, and there's going to be an offer that is made. This could be your mother and your father, and I'm sorry to have crap talked your mom this way, but if it's your mother and father, the father is wanting to give something, and the mother is sort of, she wants to give, but she's territorial, and so finally they give something over. There is a gift. Oh yeah, you have something new to work with, and you know, don't be mad, just still like the video. It does feel like that, and there's something that you're not seeing in the whole situation, so you're gonna find out about that later. Okay, complicated reading, but really strong. We have Malkuth, which is the bottom Sephiroth, right? Which is the ground or the kingdom, and so this is the foundation from which into which everything else flows. It is the root chakra, the root chakra, the base of everything, the foundation. So I feel like you're getting. I think you're getting a foundational start, and I feel like you're getting a foundational start to do with money, and I feel like if you're not cautious, you know how you start things, it really influences how you live through them. So you have a big foundational start here, but there's like a little bit of a secret there. It has to do with your childhood, not the secret, maybe, but there's something, there's more to it than meets the eye, and you really want to focus on getting a good foundation going, right? Your north node, what am I talking about? I should be looking at the astrology. Your north node is with the IC, which is the beginning, right? So in some way, yeah, you're setting forward in some kind of foundation. Don't be haphazard with it. Don't be careless with it. And I feel like they're both on your side, and I feel like that's you beginning something new, and it's quite unexpected, whatever's coming through. I forgot to play my game. If you've watched the whole video, and this only works if you watch the whole thing, here is a little game. So we're going to play rock, paper, scissors, and you can choose what your conditions are. So you're like, if I win, then Bobby likes me. If Roosh wins, then Steve likes me, okay? So we're going to play rock, paper, scissors. Pause the video if you're not ready. But if you're ready, let's go. Okay. Okay, Taurus. That's what we've got. So you guys got the rock, and then remember with rock, paper, scissors, you guys know how it works. Rock beats paper, paper beats rock, rock beats scissors, and then scissors cut paper. Yeah? Okay. Have a wonderful new moon. Congratulations. That was really on point and very intense message. So I think it's on like Donkey Kong. Take care. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for joining me, and welcome to this reading for the North Node transit in Cancer and the South Node transit in Capricorn between November 2018 and May 2020. I hope you guys are doing well. We're going to read for this sign to start off with. So, and I'm going to do an expanded version of this reading on Vimeo. So it's actually in a special playlist called Timeless Karma. It's linked down below. And this is something that I did back in September, so I decided to give you guys more information. I think it's an important transit, so giving it extra time is important. The first card that I'm going to pick for you guys is from the Colette Baron Reads deck, which is the Animal Spirit, and you have the Butterfly Spirit. Yay, that's good. Transformation is beautiful, which is really a huge part of karma. Look at all these butterflies. We've got 3 here. Hey girl, hey. So such a pretty message, and I can't really do too much of a reading without knowing what sign it is, so why don't we take a look at your sign? And we have Justice, Libra. Hey girl, hey. Okay, so let's take a look at your transits for the next year and a half or so, and we're going to talk about it now, and then I will do a reading concurrently and then bonus on Vimeo, okay? So I do have the moving chart for you guys today. We start off in January 1st, and I'll end it sometime in December in 2019. Your North Node is in the 10th house of career, so we'll focus on that second. But first we'll talk about your South Node in Capricorn, and it's in your 4th house of home and family. So I've been alluding to this, Libra, in your readings for a while, right? Like I've been like, pay attention to this, pay attention to this. And this is the transit that really sets it off. And especially when you're dealing with the South Node transiting to this point here, which is the IC line, things are getting really interconnected between you and your family members. And one thing to remember with this transit is that the things that are coming up for you, Libra, they have to do with not only your karma, but also the karma of your family members, and families kind of energetically transmute energy together, right? There's this family systems kind of approach of looking at things. And so that means that when we're talking about families and karma, it's a little bit closer, a little bit more complex, a little bit all smushed together. So we have 3 transits here in the 4th house. Saturn, which is what you've done, the South Node, which is past lives, and Pluto, which is like the unifying consciousness. And so all of this is happening in your 4th house. Here's Venus transiting through in February, so that will happen. And then in December, Jupiter will move into your 4th house as well. So this is a very important time for you, Libra, and it has a lot to do with like healing, family relationships. I think Libras at this point have the highest chance of improving their family relationships out of any sign. So if you're a Sun, Moon, or Rising Libra, chances are that you'll probably have more opportunity to fix worse problems in family dynamics, or you'll be asked to deal with more intense problems in family dynamics than any other sign. So it's like this is the big payoff for you, essentially. I mean, in a spiritual way. By the way, these readings are not meant to be practical. They're meant to be like abstract and metaphorical. And so especially when you're talking about transits like the South Node and the North Node, we're really talking about abstract concepts. So just bear in mind. So this isn't literally, you know, certain things. It will manifest in a literal sense, like fights between family members, making up with family members, all of that stuff. But I feel like this transit has a lot more to do with the energy that has been brought into this lifetime by past experiences. And because there are so many transits together, I hope you can appreciate these are outer planets. Well, these are mid planets, Jupiter and Saturn, but Pluto in the South Node. South Node takes 20 years to be in the same position. Pluto takes 247 years, something like that. Saturn takes 29 years and Jupiter takes 12. So the fact that they're all together in 2020 in Capricorn is really significant, and 2019 is pretty special as well. So this means that you, unlike any other sign, Sun, Moon, and Rising, have the ability to address some really deep truths. You know, these things kind of stem back to the beginning of your family's existence, so beyond this lifetime. If you don't believe in past lives, then you can just think of it as a narrative, you know, a narrative shared between your family lineage and your family line that is being cleared out. and reconciled. So whatever it is, it's fundamental, right? Here there's a big T square here in May, right on Venus and Vesta. So in your 7th house of partnership, that might lead to some kind of situation in which a partner of yours, especially if you're married, or a romantic partner, is in some way kind of put as like the go-between between your family and your career, and something may turn to a heated discussion or a very intense conversation. And look, it's holding right through May, so it's a T square on Vesta. So there's this like natural aptitude to go in one direction with one person, but there's two polarities, one in your home life, one in your career, that are pulling you apart. Now in June, we see the stellium in Cancer forming, right? And that will continue right through August in your 10th house of career. This is where your North Node is. We'll get to that in a minute, but I did want to point that out. Maybe I'll pause the video so we can go back to it there. So this is the stellium that you're going to experience through June and July, and this is going to be part of the energy that you want to harness to get going in the direction that's right for you, which is career, public life. So you're really looking to July and June for these transits. There is a solar eclipse in July, on July 2nd, in this area of your life, and so this will open up opportunities for you to move forward. One of the reasons to keep this in mind is that the South Node is enmeshed in this Capricorn transit here, and it's so many, the weight of this outweighs the North Node transit, if that makes sense. There's just so many planets here that it's just way more intense and brings your attention into the home, brings your presence into the home. There'll be requirements for you to pay attention to these dynamics and reconcile them. It may not be even your situation. It might be a situation between different family members, you know, as in the idea that a family is a system of which everybody is a branch, right? And in some way, you're called upon to reconcile this energy, and it's going to get very concentrated, especially if there's a lot of Libra sun and moon and rising in your family. There's going to be a lot of this kind of, you know, hopefully not crap hitting the fan, but like hopefully it's positive. Hopefully, what I am really excited about this transit for is that I feel like it can actually be very healing for problems that would most likely not be reconciled in any other circumstance. Extreme situations of whatever's happened, in which people are not talking and not communicating, and the relationship is somewhat over. It's never quite over, but in which it's reached a dead end in this lifetime. I feel like maybe this transit will somehow help dislodge that energy and address whatever blockage is happening. It's a once-in-a-lifetime transit. You guys are very fortunate to have it in your 4th house. It's a blessing and it's a miracle. I really feel like you're blessed to have it there. Okay, and it's 2 years, 2019, 2020. It was there in 2018 as well. Here is the card. So we have the Page of Rods. So this is a Sag, Leo, or Aries. This is also called to adventure. So yeah, somebody was called away, somebody wasn't present, huh? And then we have the Emperor, which represents the father. So this can represent your husband, yourself as a partner, or it could represent your father, literally. Here is the next message. We have the Empress. Wow, okay. And I shuffled. Did you hear me shuffle in between? I'm just shuffling to the side. I have to twist to show you, so I hope you guys don't mind. Here we go. So we have, and then we have the Two of Cups. That's nice. You know, this is almost like the prodigal son, right? The one who kind of leaves and then comes back. The Two of Cups is here. I didn't even say it. I just kind of gushed. I feel like maybe somebody had left on a journey and now they're coming back around. Or maybe there's like I feel like a really strong energy of reconciliation. For some of you, this will be very extreme. Like, for example, if for many lifetimes there has been a suppression of a situation being reconciled, then that can manifest as an overhaul of what's happening. And you pretty much know you're in it. you know, extreme situations, extreme intensity. That's true. But I think that what I'm really kind of drawn to with this energy is that it's like a blessing, and and I've been telling you guys all along, right? So I feel like it's a blessing, and I feel like it's something like this, like some wonderful, unexpected transformation for the better, like healing and you know, forgiveness, or the unthinkable happening, and fixing things. And I know no matter what the situation is, some people go through horrific circumstances, but most people would prefer if they could remove the behavior, still keep the bond, right? Or in some way, because oftentimes hurt people hurt, right? So if you look at it from that level, it could be very triggering for some of you, because obviously family issues can be very difficult if you're dealing with psychopaths, narcissists, sociopaths, whatever. But I feel like if you could remove the disease, and those are diseases, right? Mental illness. So if you could remove the disease, then the connection would be something that most people would choose, despite what the situation is. Okay, so I feel like this is what's happening here. Beautiful cards, right? And this could be you in your relationship and someone coming in and helping, or some other kind of unthought of circumstance. Transformation is beautiful, right? So embracing, I think you're the person who's kind of the mediator between everything. Even if you're a part of the matrix of all this, I feel like you're the mediator, like Libra, right? You mediate. And so I feel like you reconcile this energy and find forgiveness in the hearts of these people. Okay. So here is the second cards. And so I paused the video so we could see the stellium here. So this is where we start, and this is the majority of the energy, like the amount of gas to get through this energy will be sizably more, but to get here will be very hard, because for the most part there's no transits anywhere near Cancer. There's going to be an eclipse on the 2nd of July, as I said. It's a solar eclipse, so that's good. And that's going to be the big push this year in this direction, and for you that's career. So maybe you're living really far away from family. You know, maybe you're forced to have to work somewhere else, or, you know, be really far away. And so this is a part of the, you know, moving, or maybe you have to go now. Maybe it's time for you to go in an uncertain situation, right? Towards your career, towards your public life. So many people live like this now. So we have the Strength card, which is the card of Leo. And there is an eclipse in Leo, which is right on the cusp of Cancer, right on January 20th. It's 0 degrees Leo, so it's really on the line, so we can kind of count it here. And so I feel like this is like the door is open forward, and, you know, like when they let out like doves or something from the cages and they fly out, that kind of thing, through social connections. A Fool card, which is my favorite Fool. Look how beautiful he is, eh? Such a good, I really like this deck, but this Fool is just amazing. Okay, so we have the Fool. A new beginning, maybe a new friendship opens the path to some opportunities. You know, listen, like sometimes where you're at, where your family's at, there's just no opportunity and you have to become a migrant. Here is the next message. We have the 3 of Swords. Ooh, okay. It's not an easy road to take, right? It's not an easy choice to make. And I feel like maybe somebody who's peripheral in your family, like a sibling or a cousin, had to leave and disproportionately put the weight down on other people. And maybe this is what we're talking about, the heartbreak of the circumstances, and the Ace of Swords, the truth, right? So there's been, the new beginning has happened in the past, and I feel like the truth is going to be conveyed now about what the circumstances are and which way people are going. And maybe, Libra, it's your turn to move forward. Maybe you were the one who was held back because somebody else left, and now it's your time to kind of move ahead. Okay, so I hope that this gives you food for thought. Remember, it's metaphorical, so really adopt it to whatever is going on. And now I'm going to pick 6 cards, 6, for your clarifier spread, which is a spread that I did on my channel in the Daily Show in 2015. And so essentially what you guys will get to watch this on Vimeo under the Timeless Karma. I wanted to do a bonus spread, but I didn't feel it was right for December, the December package, and the Timeless Karma is kind of what we're talking about. There's other videos there. So videos I did before, and they're linked there, so you can watch all of them together, especially if you're working on karmic things. And definitely this is a good time to work on karma, because the South Node all year, a year and a half of really deep work. So depending on like what your interest is, but if you're interested in this type of modality, this is the time of a lifetime to do these types of things and to bring up your self-awareness, right? Okay. If you choose to do so, you'll have awareness anyway. Okay, so we have 6 cards. I'll see you guys in a minute. Thank you guys for watching and supporting my channel. I hope you guys are doing well, and we'll talk soon. Take care. Bye. Your mid-October pick a card. I have to do this as a podcast today still, but that's okay. What we're going to do is have you pick from number 1 to number 12. And I'm setting up a very cool reading. Sorry I can't show it to you, but we'll see. I think by tomorrow I'll have everything back up. So I hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to my channel. My name is Varush. I hope you like the painting I selected for you guys, and I think it's quite beautiful. And so yeah, so we're taking a look at all zodiac signs from 1 to 12. And this is your love check-in for mid-October. I find sometimes reading this way is better because I can not explain the cards, because I spend so much time explaining the cards that I know some of you like that, but it actually takes away from the reading, doesn't it? Because I can't just do the reading, I have to explain the cards, right? And that takes time, attention away from the reading itself. So this way, nobody is being triggered and asking me, what card is that? What card is that? And so we can just enjoy the reading. Okay, so I'm going to pick a number from 1 to 12. That's how we're going to start. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'm not going to do a second reading, but your comments and likes are very appreciated. I put out 4 readings yesterday that are just beautiful, and I think you should check them out. And they are called the Tarot Truth Podcast, which is really, really great. Okay, so this is how we're going to do it today. I hope I'm not offending anyone, all that. So why don't we, as you guys are trying to think of a number from 1 to 12, Maribel, are you going to do time caps today, hun? Because if you are, can you just keep track of the numbers so I can just say next up is this number, this sign, next up is this sign? Is that okay? I don't want to assume that you're doing the time caps. Cool, thanks, honey. Okay, so your general energies, why don't we get, I find it relaxing to do it this way. Like if you get a reading with me, that's what you're going to get, is just me talking, you know? So this is more like a real reading, which is good. So the general energies right now for mid-October. Ooh, okay. So I have, okay. So someone is in some way either coveting somebody else's wealth and security. Coveting means that they want it, or they in some way want it, or in some way they're afraid that somebody else wants theirs. So it's this kind of mixed feelings. Maybe they really like a person, but they're feeling away. They're feeling like the things that they own, the things that are theirs, are actually the motivation for this relationship. Conversely, maybe somebody is scoping out what you have, and kind of you don't know what their motivation towards you really is. So that's the general energy for mid-month. That's a pretty like Venus retrograde kind of vibe, isn't it? It's like, what do you want from me? What's your real purpose here? Because Venus rules money, right? So if Venus rules money and she's retrograde, there's a lot of this kind of stuff going on. Okay, so first off, the first sign I'm reading for is we have Taurus, the bull. That came in the reverse, and I feel as though around Taurus there's some good luck. However, there's a woman who has, okay, so around the Taurus is a woman who in some way has broken their hearts. This woman is a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, and this person in some way betrayed their feelings, betrayed their hurt. Maybe there's, and the Taurus itself is in the reverse. So what that means is that maybe they're shutting down, maybe they're not necessarily letting in the energy, maybe they're not necessarily letting in the energy, and maybe they are kind of withdrawing. They're making plans for a new beginning, and they're trying to figure out when's the right time to move forward, but there will be a significant need in order to take care of your heart health, which I don't mean physiologically. I mean that you have to take care of your heart. You have to take care of your feelings. You have to take care of your emotions. And they're really hurt at this time, which is causing you to kind of shut down, and around you is somebody who is in some way somebody who has a low vibration emotionally, the Queen of Cups in the reverse. So there's this kind of like she's not very, she's offering things, but she's broken, and so she's making you feel away. And so I think that you're now taking a look at going in a different direction. A little bit of clarity for you, Taurus. We have this is definitely the best option for you at this time, is to accept whatever has been going on that has been disappointing for you in your relationship, and move forward towards something that will in some way bring more hope, and turn that lemon into lemonade. You know, the whole idea of that. Turn the lemon into lemonade, and then by the end of the month you'll be chilling out and really resting and getting reacquainted or remotivated towards love. So I think that at this time, I don't know if the Queen of Cups is the person who actually broke your heart, Taurus. This could be someone who comes in after the heart's been broken, and in some way, when we're not doing great, there's always that person who's willing to energetically connect with you, and they identify with that. So that's where it comes from. This attachment to, oh, I have that feeling too, so let's make that connection. Okay. So next up we have Leo. Leo's in the reverse too. The reason that they're in the reverse, I know you guys know I don't do reversals, is this. I'll show you guys the spread later. It's really fun. But the spread is one where there will be reversals, okay? So Leo's in the reverse, and let's see why. Let's see what's going on for Leo. People have gone in their two separate directions. And I think this could be between friends, in a love relationship around friends. There has been a parting of ways. People have gone in two different directions, and Leo took sides, and that's why they're not in the reverse. They don't feel necessarily too great about having to take sides, but the relationship between the two friends ended, and it basically was a choice that they had to make. They made a solitary choice in order to move towards love, and there's a lot of love around Leo at this time. So it's kind of a sad thing to see someone go. However, I do feel like there is good luck coming through. There's some negative feelings or some worried feelings about the well-being of the person that's being left behind. But frankly, Leo, you were just closer with one person than the other, so you had to choose. And the person you chose with, the direction that you chose, is actually to do with a lot of love. You got the Six of Cups, the Two of Cups, and the Emperor around it. So I feel as though there is this really, it was like a no-brainer, like you had to go in this direction. You have felt guilty about the choice because Leo doesn't like anybody, let down anyone. But I think soon enough you'll hear that the person that you left behind has started a wonderful new beginning. So you will not feel so guilty for having made those choices, for having gone in that direction. So Leo, don't be worried. Everything will be okay. Okay. So next up we have Capricorn, and so I feel as though there is a quick change for Capricorn in the mid-month, a quick change in the Capricorn, maybe to do with their home or where they live. They have been waiting for that change to come and become available to them for a while, and I feel like they have been taking care of their environment. I think that there is something to do with the house and home in which you have to talk about someone, Capricorn. You have to talk to someone about, it's almost like you know that you are in the right, so you will have to make something happen. You will have to make something happen, but you've been waiting to make that thing happen because you don't want to inflict pain or suffering on another person. And so you've been trying to deliberate between walking away or confronting the situation. You will confront the situation, I'm pretty sure. I think that there's also a water sign male who's involved, Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. I feel as though there's this kind of throwing your arms up in the air, like, what can I do with this? This is just a weird situation. And so this is just a weird situation, and I can just let bygones be bygones and enjoy the welcome energy that is here for me at this time. So it's like there's nothing else to do but to accept the things that have happened, or they accept the way that things have been going, and I will just do me and be okay with that. Okay, so I feel like that's a pretty big energy here. Okay, so next up we have Pisces. Okay, so Pisces, Pisces has been waiting on something as well. They've been waiting for someone who they feel is disloyal to them to leave the situation. So they're not necessarily opening up, or in some way they feel like they are dealing with someone who is disingenuous, disloyal, somebody who doesn't have their back. But of course Pisces doesn't let anybody know. Very soon there will be some message, possibly from a Leo, possibly from a Capricorn or an Aries, coming to Pisces to tell you to, on a different front, you will have to in some way kind of take a look at something from a different direction. You will be asked to help a situation. You will be asked to help a situation in a new direction, and that new direction will take you out. So the majority of your energy, Pisces, in mid-October is to confront this energy of the duplicitous person or snake. Okay, and so I feel like you are being drawn away from that energy. You're being pulled away from the energy, because there will be someone reaching out to you to talk with you, to communicate with you about a matter of business or relationships that will pull you out of the situation of focus. It's almost like you're dealing with this friend who you can't wait to leave because they are just shady, and you're kind of done with that. But at the same time, from like another side of your life, there will be some communication coming to you saying, hey, pay attention to this. This is like relationship territory. If you're dating a fire sign man, a Sag, Leo, or an Aries, this person in some way is very much withholding from you. So if you've been wondering, like, is this person actually giving to me? Is this person actually, is it me? Am I being too needy? You know, those kinds of questions come up. If you're feeling that, I feel like this is a confirmation that for some reason this man is not actually giving to you. And I lost track if I picked 3 cards for Pisces, so let me just do 3 more to clarify. Yeah, so I'm actually it ended up clarifying that fire sign male, and so I feel like he and if you're talking about a woman, it could be a woman, he is going to dig in his heels in order to assure his victory over a situation. That doesn't mean it's the end of the relationship, but when he's clamped down like that, when he's like refusing, you know, when he's refusing to this and that with you, then I feel like when he's refusing this and that, he's actually trying to assure his success. On a larger scale, you may want to think about, Pisces, whether or not this person is walking away from you or separating. If you're in a very serious relationship with him or her and they're really taking a step back from you in this fashion, you may ask yourself, is this person edging away from me at this time? Because you don't want to be foolish, Pisces, right? Like, you don't want to be like with this person, giving them the benefit of the doubt, holding on for gosh knows how long, and then they turn around and they dip on you anyway. So you don't want to give them goodwill, and in fact you want to give them a certain degree of goodwill, but this should be setting off light bulbs. So don't worry if this is not your situation, just let it go. But I'm sure that some Pisces out there have been on the fence about a situation, and it's almost like, in their direction, I have to tell you this, and like, don't shoot the messenger, and I don't have fun saying this, but their attention is in other directions, and it could possibly be towards other people. So if that's your situation, that's your situation. If it's not, it's not. But there is a much better energy that is coming to you through Leo and Capricorn. So if you're dealing with someone who has Sun, Moon, and Rising in Leo, Capricorn, or even Aries, I think they're bringing something to you. They really want to connect with you on some level. So hopefully I didn't shatter any hearts, but sometimes my Aquarian moon's really rough on the water signs because they just want to be, you know, gentle. And it feels weird for Pisces right now because it's like, it's tenuous energy on two fronts. It's tenuous energy in two directions. And it's like, after a while, it bogs you down. I can feel it. So next up I have Virgo. So I think Pisces has a problem with the Virgo. Speaking of which, I'm a Virgo, if you guys don't know. So next up is Virgo. By the way, when you guys do time caps, don't put the signs in order so that people can pick a number and then just choose like a sign that is most important for them, and I'll put that in the legend. So just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? But then Virgo, okay, so now we're moving on to Virgo. Virgo and Pisces might be in a conflict in the mid-month. If anything, it could be something to do with like a previous exchange, or Virgos. I was best friends with the Pisces for 10 years in high school and college. Like, we were super, super close, like a sister, you know? And the thing about it is that, like, these things last years between a Virgo and a Pisces, because neither one will say anything, but if there's an issue and it's like, and you get the stink eye and you get the screw face, you know, on the side, a little chuckle when they're proven right or wrong. So conflict between Pisces and Virgos can be really a rough deal that can last a while. It can be very kind of, I don't like that energy. As a Scorpio Aquarius side of me, I'm like, oh, I hate that. And I'm a Leo Virgo too, so I cringe at that energy. But it's true, like, a good, like, real Scorpio and it's a really good Pisces and a real good Virgo, like right in the middle or something, they can have conflict between the two of them for a really long time and just hold their opinion in whatever direction it is, and then never confront it. So it's always there, which is really not good for your environment. So if that's the case, but I feel as though both people don't feel comfortable to speak to each other. So it's not necessarily passive aggression. There's something, maybe it's a situation, maybe it's at work and you can't really say anything, and maybe nothing really bad's happened. The other thing about Pisces and Virgo is that both signs won't do horrible things to each other. So they'll hold their attention a certain direction, or they hold their belief a certain direction, but they may not do anything. You know, they'll just watch the other fall and giggle. But is that actually a good is that actually a good energy, right? So I'm trying to read the comments, but I'm gonna just lock down. There's also a Sag, Leo, or Aries female in some way who is involved, and I feel as though she has a very key influence on Virgo right now. So Virgo is meant to connect with a Sag, Leo, or Aries female, but it could be a male as well. There's like a destiny there, a destiny and experience. Let's see. There could be a possibility to decide for both Pisces and Virgo, but mostly for Virgo. I feel like there's a opportunity to celebrate. So you have to make a choice in the next 2 weeks about whether or not you are going to celebrate something. There will be an opportunity, or maybe somebody who is Pluto heavy, such as a Scorpio rising, will in some way offer up some kind of emotional new beginning. There's a decision about a new relationship. And if you want to backtrack to Pisces, I would say that that's true for them as well. There's a second chance coming through in terms of relationships, not between each other, but both signs are getting that. Both signs are getting an opportunity for that a little bit, okay? And then I think Virgo is being very much guided by a higher energy. I'm going to tell you it's going to be Aries. So yeah, Virgos really should be turning towards fire signs right now. Similarly, Pisces is really seeming to be in some way really connected to fire, as like maybe it's like the torch that lights the way. But I feel like for Virgos, and for Pisces, and if you can make a note that there's a lot of information for the Pisces number in the Virgo thing, because that just tended to overlap. I'm doing this big map reading. I'll show you guys later. So some of the signs, it's like the interconnection between signs. So some of the cards overlap, and so some of this is true for Pisces as well. So I think that the relationship is beginning. Maybe there is a second chance at a relationship between a Pisces and a Virgo, but I feel like the conflict is really deep right now, so it's not necessarily so easy to reconcile. But I think both signs are getting a new relationship. It could be a friendship, but Virgo is very much guided by Aries. So the next number we're going to start now, and that's, oh no, we can't. I have to pick 3 cards for Virgo. Hey girl, hey. Okay, so Virgo, you guys got, okay. Wow, you got huge cards, and I'm trying not to say what cards I got, but you got the Magician, the 8 of Pentacles, which is our card, Sun in Virgo, and then you've got the Star. So I feel like you need to double up on whatever you have been doing. I feel like your creativity is a high point, and productivity as well. I feel as though somebody is coming into your life and it's been fated. Basically, I think Virgo needs to really chill out and do her thing or his thing, and let that relationship roll in. I don't think you need to put any more effort in to the situation, and really try not to, when things go your way, don't try to shove it in Pisces' face. Right now, Pisces is your karmic point, which means that if you do something to a Pisces, the karma is more severe for you, because you're in this conflict and God or the universe wants you to separate and to diffuse the conflict. So if you go against that, then you're going against, you have, it's a really bad energy or bad karma. It's bad karma to do things to bad people all the time, but there are levels to it, like there's levels to hell, right? So when you're on some stuff, like good stuff's going on, you taking a shot at people who are down for whatever reason is like really bad karma. So that's what I feel really strongly for you, Virgo, that you're going to have some really good energy towards achieving something specific. And if you take a shot at Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising, it's going to catapult you, it's almost like it's going to hit you right back in the face, So you want to wish them well. I don't know what they did to you, but I think that no matter what the conflict is, you just need to let them, heal. So now on to Aries, the next sign. Aries is super lit, super enlightened. Yeah. Aries is seeing the light of God slash the universe. They have a new beginning that they are encroaching upon. Let's see. They have a new beginning with probably a Sagittarius. Ooh, that's nice. So Sagittarius and Aries are starting some kind of new beginning. Aries might be receiving gifts from Sag. Aries could be kind of in some new way. And I feel as though there could be a lot of like exchange between the two signs. And likewise, Sag might be offering something to Aries. You know, Sag could be offering in some way some kind of new beginning, some kind of spiritual new beginning, something exciting going on. And so I feel like, yeah, but we're talking about Aries here, and I think Aries is super excited. I think actually Sag and Aries are the closest signs that are connecting right now, as far as we've gone, right? So yeah, so I feel like that connection is, it's like super exchange. It's like, yeah, here you go, here's some insight, let's have some fun, here's a gift, here's some food, you know. It's like constant. It's like you guys are super close and super fast and super excited to be around each other. Okay, so for Aries, I have, yeah. So I feel like for Aries, you have the you have very similar cards to Virgo, which is interesting. And maybe this is why you're meant to be a leader for Virgos right now. So if you have a Virgo sun, moon, or rising friend, very likely they in some way are they are in some way in need of guidance from you. You're the archetype that they're supposed to turn to and gain insight from the universe about. Because I think Aries, you're really locking down someone who's really, really important for your future, and it's kind of a serendipitous moment, like going in a certain direction towards a specific outcome in order to achieve something. And then on the side note, then there's Sag, and Sag is like all over Aries right now, and Sag is like super feeling Aries transit. So if you have a friend, so let's do Sag now. So now we're switching next to Sag. So Sag is feeling Aries a lot right now, and I feel like that's a super close connection. So anyone who you know, if you're a Sag who has Aries transits, sun, moon, and rising, you know, just that's a lot. Sag is willing to give and create new opportunities, and also is receiving a lot of new opportunities. Sag is also having a new relationship, a new relationship offer. I think Sag is probably, Virgo, Pisces, and Sag are the three signs that are experiencing a new relationship when it involves taking someone back or bringing someone back into their life. This could be their arrows of love from Sagittarius could be hitting Aries, or it could be like a business beginning, something really creative and exciting. Sag could have very well turned their back on a Capricorn, and so they could have just let a situation really go in a not positive direction. And I feel like maybe there's going to be some gesture that is being exchanged in order to make right with the Capricorn energy. It might not be a Cap sun, they might have a Cap moon or a rising sign in Capricorn, but there was like a blow up, possibly over money, and that led to, you know, Sag just turning their back, because like they don't do that kind of stuff. And so I feel like maybe as they've turned their back, they've set their focus on like an Aries energy, new creative energies, and then maybe something will come through from that anyway, or maybe from a new direction, an unexpected direction, something new comes in. Okay, so with you guys for Sag, I think that, okay, so I think Sag is like super excited about all the directions that you're taking. You're super excited about the directions that you're taking and all of that. And so I feel like when you settle down, so you do this and that in front of all these different people, like you seem not bothered, you seem like fine, and like everything's set. But essentially, I think behind closed doors, you're still unsettled by the things that have been going on around you. You don't feel stable, and I feel like it's psyching you out. So I would say fake it till you make it, Sag. It's only a couple weeks. I think that you're feeling the Mercury retrograde. Mercury moves into Sagittarius at the end of the month and will go retrograde in November. And so what in Sagittarius, so I think maybe this is like you're sensing that there needs to be an adjustment between the communication that's been going on around you. So you're kind of like addressing different directions with your focus and attention, and I think you're like getting worried about all the different directions that you have to attend to, and that's why you're experiencing those feelings. But I don't think that those feelings are going to last forever, so you should just be patient with that. Okay, so the next sign is Libra. Libra's feeling some kind of unfairness around them, possibly around school. They're in some way, oh, somebody could be reaching out to you, Libra, if you're in school or in your community, to try to make a romantic connection with you. Capricorn's getting ditched by everyone. Capricorn should turn towards Pisces, but Libra and Sag are not having it. Sorry, that's a little caveat. This reading is turning out different than what I thought, so you might as well listen to the whole thing. But the Libra message is that in some way you're turning towards what is familiar. So you're turning to your religious organization, you're turning towards school at this time, and I feel like in some way there could be a Scorpio who's coming your way, Libra, and giving you some insight. There could be some idea of some kind of long-term commitment in that direction for some of you. Otherwise, Libra's just kind of getting options on two sides. On the one hand, a Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising could be approaching you. They could have been gone a long time. They could be disillusioned with the other relationships they have been having, and now they're coming back to you. Or you might be meeting somebody else in a community group or some kind of institution. You could also be connecting with a Taurus. So it's funny because Scorpio and Taurus are opposite signs. So you could in some way really be on that polarity, and Libra's the scales, the balancing point between two options. So it'd be really interesting to hear about whether or not you are actually dealing with a Taurus and a Scorpio. So that's interesting, and for you that is your second house and your eighth house, right? So Scorpio is your second house, which is your own finances, and eighth house is Taurus, which is the finances you share with others, Libra. So the focus is like maybe coming into kind of union with someone, maybe the Scorpio or maybe the Taurus, and sharing resources. You know, two checkbooks is better than one, that kind of thing. There could have been, okay, so some Libras are on the rebound, and maybe even from a Sag, but some Libras are on the rebound and they're celebrating, they're having fun, and it's a real social time for you at this time, okay? So next we're going to take a look at Scorpio. Scorpio and Capricorn are super close right now, although they're not super connected. They just seem energetically like they'll be around each other a lot. And the connecting point is, I guess, the feeling of disillusionment. There could be feelings of like not feeling so motivated towards situations and people right now because of past experiences. Scorpio is definitely going towards the money. Money opportunities are on the forefront, and they feel as though that the money opportunities that are coming through for them are in some way a door opening to a better life, to better circumstances. Okay, so let's pick some. I know Scorpio's short so far. Let's see if we find anything else for them. So yeah, no, I think that there could be a Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising Scorpio. that kind of has stirred your interest in a new direction. They are very kind of easy to get along with, easy to talk to. They're not complicated. They're intelligent without all that emotional wisdom and kind of intensity. I feel like Scorpio's been flooded. The three signs I feel like who have been flooded emotionally recently were Capricorn, Libra, and Scorpio, and I feel like they have in some way now felt the need to separate themselves from those feelings of feeling flooded and try to go a different direction. I feel as though there has been a lot of opportunities to change, new directions to have, Scorpio. I feel like you are maybe making some plans for furthering your education or possibly even traveling the world. But this is a refreshing energy that's come onto your radar. I feel like the complexity of other relationships is being sort of dispelled, and now you're like, oh, this is actually really nice because I can be the emotional one, because as a Scorpio you attract a lot of emotions from others, but like you are actually deeply emotional, so sometimes it's nice to have a nice airy complement who can in some way just like hear you out and bring a lot of intellect into the situation, fresh ideas. I'm getting a lot of energy to do with fresh ideas for you, Scorpio, so it's like fresh ideas, not bogged down emotionally, but kind of interested in your emotions because you're their complement. So I would say try that. It might lead to some kind of change in the world, an interest in a new direction, new identity stuff for you. So maybe through October, that's more of a friendship energy, but it's definitely something that will be nice for you to enjoy. Okay, the other energy that's connected, so we have Aquarius pretty close to Scorpio. Aquarius is dealing with, Aquarius has got good stuff going on. Okay, so Aquarius is next. I feel like maybe there's, I feel as though it's Aquarius really needs to watch what they say and to whom, because I think that that will in some way really detract from the good energy that is around them. I feel as though Aquarius very much has some opportunities in love and in long-term relationships. I feel as though in some way they are really heading towards the right path for relationships, love, family, and business. I feel like they have a path cleared for them towards something, and I think that there is distractions. Ironically, the energy that they're moving towards is Cancer. So the energy of Cancer, possibly Cancer. Cancer could be beginning a new relationship with Taurus or Aquarius or both. Like, it doesn't mean like one Cancer person is toying with both people. It's like Cancers have the option in two directions. But for Aquarius, I feel like maybe there's a friendship between a Scorpio and an Aquarius, and they're leaving each other's presence in a very neutral way. There's no conflict, there's no fighting, they just go their own way, and that's like a really healthy thing for both signs to neutralize. So what they're doing is that they're neutralizing any ill will, any ill feelings that they have towards circumstances. So when you kind of leave a relationship and it bogs you down and it makes you feel like crap, this is a situation in which it could be a relationship or a friendship in which people just let things alone, and because it's such a friendly way of parting company, neither Scorpio nor Aquarius are hurt. And so I feel as though Aquarius shifts their focus towards happiness, building community and love. There's a really strong connection and a happy connection between Aquarius and Cancer types. So we have the five of, hold on. So I feel as, okay, so there's a complicated relationship that is evolving between a Leo and an Aquarius. And I feel like you have to really figure out which direction you want to go, Aquarius. You're kind of in the middle of it all, like in this whole spread also. And so I feel like you're connecting with Scorpio, you're connecting with Capricorn. In fact, Capricorn looks to me like they are your safe bet in terms of which direction you need to go. It seems as though you need a little bit of grounding. You need a little bit of support in your grounding at this time, so you might do well by choosing that. However, I think that a Leo, a Sag, or Aries comes on the scene for you in some way and tries to really kind of connect with you on a deep level. It could be to do with work, but it could be a relationship. And so if you're dealing with a Leo, you got to remember that they're kind of in some, Leos are in some way not necessarily at their best. So you may be thinking that they're not interested, or you may be thinking that it's not like a situation for you, but it is much better. It is much better than what you think it is. Okay? Next we have Gemini. So I feel like Gemini is being locked out by Cancer. That doesn't mean that, and they're stressed out because of it. So Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising is like, is blocking out Gemini and in some way not letting them in emotionally. And I feel like Gemini is stressed out. However, there's a really good connection between Gemini and Aquarius right now. Gemini has very few things going on around it. There's a little bit of gossip going around Gemini. It's like they're really trying to listen in and trying to really understand certain circumstances that are going on around them, and also for other people. I think the best energy for Gemini right now is to just focus on your Aquarian friends and have fun with them, like holistic fun. You may be kind of scoping out a Taurus as well. You might be seeing a Taurus and being thinking that they're kind of cute, that you're kind of interested in them. So that could be possibility. There could be like a love connection between friends. There could be a social group involving a Taurus, a Cancer, and an Aquarius, and they're all kind of mingling together, but nobody is really dating. I feel like if you're the Gemini, you're probably most likely to connect with the Aquarius or the Taurus. The Cancer seems to be really set on Taurus right now. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I feel like Gemini's number one energy is Aquarius. And I feel like, oh wow, okay, so you've got, I'm not mentioning cards too much on purpose, but you've got the Nine of Flames, the Two of Crystals, and the Two of Chalices. So I feel like whenever you get two twos, it means soulmate relationship. And I feel like that connection with the Aquarius is solid and it's fresh. I feel like there's a new beginning towards Taurus, but is it materializing? Not yet. So I would say that there's love coming into your life, Gemini, and there's not that many directions. You can just mess it up by poking around too much and not your business. That's where it kind of gets, you know, sketchy, but it never shows that. It never shows you getting into any kind of situation. If anything, you can make your own head spin by, you know, this and that thinking. Okay. Okay. And so then finally Cancer is feeling love towards everyone. So straight up, I feel like Cancer's trying to help Taurus, really having fun with Aquarius, keeping Gemini out, and loving energy towards Virgos and Leos. Okay, so Cancer is just really well connected right now. You get your pick of the litter, and so yeah, you get your choice. Here is the next message. On a personal level, I feel as though you've been held in one. Oh, okay. So that choice is overwhelming for you, is it? So it seems as though too many directions are making you feel spread out very thin, and you don't know exactly which direction you're meant to go specifically. You'll find your way, Cancer. I feel like you're going in some way, your energy is going after Taurus, and then Aquarius's energy is coming after you. So hopefully there will be some kind of, how do you say, a touchdown in one direction or another. But in the next 2 weeks, I feel like you might run into this energy and be super hopeful. But I feel like some of the energies around you are struggling with their own stuff. So it's like by being in proximity to them, they're bogging you down a little bit. They're making you feel like their stuff, which is not necessarily intentional, but it's also not necessarily that good for you either. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this style of reading. I don't know how I feel about it, but But it was like a big web, and hopefully it gave you some insight. We'll be back to normal tomorrow. So if you guys want more insight, the really great reading is the one I did yesterday, but it's really deep. It's actually 2 hours long, the whole thing, each of the 4 parts. But I would really recommend it. It's on my homepage, so if you go to youtube.com/c/Varouche, then you will be able to see it. And it's called the Tarot Truth Podcast. And it's beautiful. It really is. And if you guys want to support it, I'll put the link in the About section for, it's called the tarottruth.bandcamp.com, and that is a podcast. I just took that podcast and put it on an MP3. I really think that reading should be listened to rather than watched, because it's really deep, and there's a lot of things that have to do with like your deep psychology, or it has a lot to do with like your deep memories and stuff. So when you're listening to it, you're supposed to just kind of try to hear, you're supposed to trying to hear some kind of message that comes through for you, right? Like consciousness stuff. So keep an open mind. And see what you get from those. I'm not sure how I feel about this reading overall. It feels like there's a lot going on between a lot of different people. There's like love connections, financial opportunities, new creative pursuits in today's reading. But overall, I felt like it was a little bit, it's hard. Maybe this one requires that I have the video on so you guys can see. But I appreciate your comments and likes, and I do appreciate that you guys let me try out these different types of readings for you, because I think that that's fun. You don't have to do the same thing over and over again. I find that really boring. I don't really do well with that. I tried to do that before, and like I was going cross-eyed. So anyway, thank you guys for being here. I hope you have a nice day. And I'll be out soon with more videos, okay? Thank you guys so much. I will talk with you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.